We addressed the builder, and every time I mentioned the cold room above the garage, he kept changing the subject and coming to fix other things instead of that room.
If you have a complaint, let's check out what that complaint is. Let's thoroughly investigate it and make you happy. That's what should be done here.
My mother sleeps there.
8 degrees difference in temperature in one small room, we have an issue.
Everything's coming from the front. There's no insulation here whatsoever. We have massive holes galore all across where the rafters meet. I can't believe it's not colder than it actually is. Holmes, did they actually do this way?
No, we didn't. Not mothers. You want a good job? GPM shape? Okay, contractor. God, I love my job.
Almost 3 years ago, we were driving around looking for a home, and we came upon this area, and we really liked the neighborhood. We walked into the house, we liked the design, and we made the purchase. And then we wrote down a whole bunch of problems, of course, when you do the initial walkthrough, and we addressed the builder, to fix the problems, and they came to fix some and not others. And then every time I mentioned the cold room above the garage, then, he kept changing the subject and coming to fix other things instead of that room, and he never really addressed it at all.
One of the most common things I find today in any brand new home, older home, it doesn't matter. Any type of an overhang or a room over a garage. In this example here, it's a cold room. 8 degrees difference in temperature in one small room, we have an issue.
Kept calling the builder, tried to call home warranty as well, and they said just keep going on the builder. They're usually pretty reliable, that we don't have to go the course of doing anything written yet. And then as that went on, the warranty ran out and it was too late.
If there's a complaint and the builder is not standing up to it and not fixing it, then it should be up to New Home Warranty to come in and at least take a look at it. But unfortunately, you've got to document it. You've got to take pictures. You've almost got to hound them so they come in and take a look.
Henry,
Mike.
nice to see you.
Good to see you. This is my wife, Mandy.
Mandy.
Good morning.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you.
So we have an issue with our cold room over the garage.
Yes. Can I show it to you?
Yeah, please. Well, this doesn't look so bad. But unfortunately, this is one of the most common things that I see out there is anytime we have an overhang or a room over top of a garage, it's extremely cold. You were saying we're about 8 degrees difference in temperature from any other room?
My mother sleeps there. She doesn't complain, but I see her wearing her socks and her sweatshirts to go to sleep.
As soon as you would walk in, your feet would feel the chill on the floor.
So you felt the coolness off the
Absolutely.
floor. Okay, which says we're emitting cold through it.
The issue of the room being cold, they danced around that, okay? And they started fixing other things, and they stayed away from that for about 2 years until they said it's no longer our problem. Your New Home Warranty is up.
That was the tactic.
Yeah. And our neighbors kept saying, just be patient,
Right.
they'll get everything done. They, like for other neighbors, they said that, they'll eventually come and it'll get done. But then later they felt the disappointment as well on certain things.
So he didn't address what you're asking for. He just stepped in and fixed other things. What did he say about this issue of coldness in the room?
He goes, we'll have a look, and that was it. That's all he said.
The only way to fix it is to pull it all down, find out what the problem is, fix it, and then put it all back together.
One of the first things I see here is by code, you have to have 2 coats of plaster within your drywall. Here, we only have 1.
The reason why we have codes in the garage, especially in the garage, is we do not want car exhaust coming in.
So if we see any splitting tape like we see up here, this is an issue for gases getting in. I don't really want to see tape go against the wall. There should have been a black caulking bead across there or another system.
If car fumes are getting inside your home, that's a big deal. You're breathing that in.
We see a little bit, so we have no plaster here, cracking. So these are minor issues. This is not major at all.
The huge deal here is insulation. It's not warm.
We should have an R25 value up there. Minimum code requirement says that 5/8 OSB tongue and groove is the equivalent to a vapor barrier. So they don't put vapor barrier on the warm side, they just insulate the floor. Now here I do see we have a cavity of about 20 inches it looks like, eh? You know what, let's go take a look upstairs in the bedroom, do you mind?
Not at all.
Okay.
Let's go. So when you come in, you usually feel the cold on your feet just prior to entering the door. And once you step in, you really feel the cold. And as you approach this window here is where you feel the bulk of the cold.
Even colder at this wall.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So we know there should be an R25 of batt insulation in the floor. but do we have actual draft zones that cold air is coming in? I just want to take a look at your register.
As I pulled this up, I felt cold air coming in, like a breeze coming through
Interesting.
the hole, so I taped it up.
Well, that's nice that you tried to do something about that. We are going to take a look. It appears to be a 6-inch line. That's what I want to see. Because that cavity is approximately 20 inches deep, and we know the floor joists are at a maximum 2x10, is that all filled with the insulation? Is it allowing cold air to come in? Well, I'm going to open it up and we're going to find out.
I'm going to see more when I open it up. We'll inspect your heating. We'll inspect the insulation. We're going to make it right for you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You got it, Henry.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Mandy, keep that smile.
My mother sleeps there. I see her wearing her socks and her sweatshirt to go to sleep.
Henry was talking about the front wall, and that zone right underneath the roofing is a cold area. So if there's any allowance of air to come in, it's going to come in.
It is day one, and we are going to take all this drywall down, and we're going to find out why it's getting cold upstairs. I think it's just minimum code's not enough, and I think they might have screwed up just a little bit. You think for a brand new home, they would have had a receptacle right on the ceiling there, but no, they run an extension cord down the wall, plug it in, run it up and feed the power to the door opener. We'll give them a new plug right up there.
I really don't like to see the tape the way it's done across the bottom here because see, I can stick my fingers up underneath. So we got to think of the gas fumes getting in the house. And I see, just let me do that one little corner right there. We see that? The corner bead, no tape. Gases can get in. Well, today we're going to wear our safety glasses and make sure that we get nothing in our eyes. Smart move. Nice and easy. Because they only have one coat of plaster on this, not two. I don't think we're going to have an issue with this because they've nailed it. There's no screws at all. We see all kinds of pop nails on the wall here. So they have used some backer rod here, which was nice to see, but I guess they're filling a void. So they stop the fumes from going up. Not going to work. That's because backer rod is mainly for expansion joints. It's just a filler. We're going to seal this properly using acoustic caulking. Well, this is nice to see. They have 2 layers of drywall. This brown stuff here is an exterior drywall. I don't know why they use so many pieces of this, but we'll clear this up. It's really unfortunate that I have to remove all this drywall, but in order to find out where the cold's coming from, I have to do a thorough inspection. I want to see what this is too. This has kind of got me confused as to why they did this. Again, I like to see the corner bead. Don't like to see the tape the way they've done that. Like that's doing anything. I don't know what's in it, so I don't want to pierce it too hard. This is the rim board. It's the floor joist board, but it's just funny how it's ended there. So we have a single all the way over and then a double here. They cut out the outside rim joist just to put in the casing on the door, and you can see that they've even cut out the floorboard. We can tell that they were wrong on their foundation because they did a fill. It looks like non-shrinkable grout, but it could be colored concrete or colored cement. It just shows, you know, what speed does. What do you expect from a piecework factory? This is brand new, okay? Nothing can drive me nuts to see a brand new door installed, not close. I'll fix that, don't worry. But first, I gotta get the rest of this drywall out. We'll take a look at that later. So we're seeing the bad insulation. That's correct. They're saying everything's warm. It appears on this side. It's just this room above the garage. So at this point, what I see, it's good. The 2 houses across the street, the people that I talk to, they say it's nice and warm in that bedroom. But yet, everyone I've talked to across here at this point, which is 6 homes, it's a cold room.
They would have at least used like spiral nails instead of them.
Yeah, they're just common nails.
Yeah.
They're not even proper frickin' drywall nails. A common nail has no ridges, no R-docks, no twist, no turn, so it allows the nail to pop out again easy. So if you use screws, it won't pop out again. If you use at least a spiral nail, it won't pop out. The ductwork is in behind this, then they bulk this out to give more insulation on the outside of what we see, the ductwork. Now this is cute. We have a void in the wall. There's our ductwork. The idea was to build this bulk around it, insulate it, and close it and seal it. So just that little void right there is going to allow some cold stuff in. You're going to see more of that. There's 2 of them. So they're running in, it looks like a 6-inch line here and a 5-inch line here. So the rim joist here was in their way. Now they can cut it out because it's only a small section. But to cut it out with the drywall and everything and leave that open and not even care about stuffing in some insulation or a can of spray foam in there, that's just unprofessional. It needs to be filled up and air sealed. Well, I'll tell you, I'm impressed. The walls look pretty damn good. Let's start taking a look at the ceiling. You see nice insulation here. So they did fill the void. I like to see that. And they did put up a vapor barrier. However, it's split and cut everywhere. It's a cold zone up there. No wonder it's cold. The floor itself is not insulated. It's everything below it. We'll take down the rest of the drywall and then pull out all the insulation and really have a good look. I have to admit that right now at this point, this is one of the better installation jobs that I've ever seen, other than the 2 holes there and the small little zone here that's not covered. Somebody put a little bit of care into this. Let me see. We see an attic that goes into the block. We see a steel beam that's going to emit the cold. No insulation here at all. And that wonderful block wall is just allowing nothing but cool air in, isn't it? From what I see, very sloppy block work with all kinds of open voids in the mortar. Even where the cantilever, they put in the rafters, which goes right into the brick and block work. Like, that's the bedroom wall right there, right? Yeah. So all this insulation we see up here, to me, at this point is useless because we have nothing but cold air coming in directly in that wall. And I want to see up here on the other side of this beam and see what they've done. This is exactly what I expected. Everything's coming from the front. Here's our 2x8 floor joist. So they dropped the ceiling down to give an R25 in the ceiling here. They did put in a vapor barrier on the warm side, which is correct. They even put in insulation and wrapped this vapor barrier, which didn't do too much because it's not tied in anything. There's no tuck tape. They wrapped it around. They have a little piece of insulation here. I'll show you. Just a little piece. There's a steel beam. This is about an R7, this thickness here. The steel I-beam right here, which is in the cold zone. It's going to pick up the cold, carry it through to the other side, not to mention cold air drafts galore through all these holes. You look closely in that wall, and what I saw was the inside wall. Again, there's the inside drywall. What's missing here? There's no insulation here whatsoever. So the cold drives right through here, right through the steel beam, right through the wall. The floor is now the cold zone. Just like Henry said, the baseboard, I can feel a breeze. There's the ductwork. There's where Henry went upstairs and taped it all from the inside because he said he felt a cold draft. So all this insulation in here failed simply because there wasn't enough insulation on the end. We have massive holes galore all across where the rafters meet. We got a big hole right here on this side. But look at this void at the end. And this is the attic. This is the freezing cold outside weather driving directly in that void and getting in behind the wall. From what I'm seeing here, I can't believe it's not colder than it actually is. Well, we got to pull down all this insulation. This way we can take a good look at where any voids are. Well, it's nice to see that there's plastic here, but it's not sealed. See how they just overlapped? It's not even taped, so it's really not doing much. It's also getting on the inside of the house on this side because there's no insulation there. Here's our ductwork coming out of the wall. You see the vertical 5-inch line that comes up, and what is that doing? But let's insulate the low side and run a heat duct in there, and that'll keep that floor warm. That's what that is supposed to do. If you run heat in any type of zone, you have to have a return, and I don't see a return. You know, think about it. You're pushing air into a closed area. Without a return, there is no cycle. If it goes in, it has to come out. However, with having so much cold air come in, all it's doing is now allowing cold air to come back in and travel down when it's not on. We have a void going up on the other side of the house. That would explain why he said his bathroom was cold as well. His bathroom's on the other side of this wall. If it's cold up here, it'll travel right through on that side. All this 2x4 ceiling beneath and putting in all this insulation. For all the time it took, it could have taken 1 hour to spray foam the whole floor. Spray foam the beam, spray foam the front, drywall it, it's done. 100% air sealed. 95. Let's give it 95%. Still more than this. I didn't have to do this. Why don't they call in the spray foam? I don't get it.
Almost.
They almost
Did
had
it
it.
right.
Yeah. One big mistake here cost a whole lot of cold going upstairs. 8 degrees difference in that room. Makes sense to me now. Unfortunately, this is the most common thing I see, Alex, and I'm sure you do too, is that anytime we have a room over a garage or an overhang on the outside of the house, everybody complains it's so friggin' cold. Look at all the holes in the blocks all the way across. Now, as I shine my flashlight through, I see the inside wall upstairs. Ran a hot line in there, so 5-inch just to help warm the floor. So we have warm air now exiting, meeting cool air That's moisture. And that means it's gonna rot everything in the front here.
We'll close that line off, spray foam the floor, and we'll also do an air seal on the joist ends up there.
Right.
And that joist end up there. Just give it a quick seal. That should give us some more comfort up there. The biggest benefit you're gonna gain from the spray foam, besides you're gonna keep the heat up there and the floor's gonna be warmer, is the carbon monoxide. If the vapor barrier's got a pile of holes in it, you can't keep it warm. How are you gonna keep the carbon monoxide from entering the house is my question.
We'll spray about 4 inches thick to give an R value of 29. R stands for resistance, and what that's going to do is the higher the number, the better the insulation. Code calls for R25, or 29, even better. Now, we all heard about CFCs and what it does to the ozone layer. Now we use different propellants that are a lot more friendly to the environment. So it's a trade-off. Better insulation means use less harmful gases from your furnace to last a lifetime. Every nook and cranny is filled. That's just perfect. We'll start by just getting everything out of here, just so we create some room. I'm gonna get this electrical run. We're gonna get the insulation back up for sound, drywalled, 2 coats of plaster, and we will be out of here today. Just running an electrical line, which they forgot to do. Give a plug for this door opener instead of running an extension cord across the ceiling and bringing it back down. Well, we have really 2 reasons why we want to drywall and plaster 2 coats in the garage. 1, fire. 2, gas streams from coming inside their house. They should have run this when they built the house, but, you know, things get missed. That wire too tight, or just snug enough. Problem is, you get a lot of shorts when you make that connection way too tight. We want to make sure we do some clips on the wire. The clips that hold the wire are only to hold the wire from falling or moving, so you don't want to hit them too hard. Personally, I don't think it's wise for people to touch electrical unless they really know something about it.
It's called a rasp. It's for taking the edge off of the drywall. Sometimes when you break it, you get a rough edge on it. So rather than trying to cut a small edge off with your knife, which is hard to do, just take the rasp. Nice and easy.
This won't take us too long. We'll probably be 4 hours. We'll have it all drywalled, 2 coats of plaster. The only reason we're putting the insulation back in is I don't want to throw it to the junkyard, and it's going to work as really a sound absorption for the garage door opener. Let's not waste it. Let's put it back. Now we're going to drywall the whole garage with 5/8 drywall, and what that's going to do is give us a much better fire break from the garage to the house. Much better than 1/2-inch drywall. Well, we've finished all the ceiling. I just got to get the corner bead up. I want to start plastering now. I want to get 2 coats on this before this day's out. But to make it safe, we're doing a quick clean and going back at it. There's a few different types of tape for drywall. This is a fiber mesh tape. It's really upon preference. A lot of the professional plasters care more about the paper tape. They don't like the mesh tape. Personally, I love it. You wouldn't believe how many garages that I've looked at that they don't use corner bead on their outside corners. You want to make sure you use corner bead. It seals the corners, especially in a garage. The big holes are for plaster. The small holes are for screws. The other guys had taped this area. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring the drywall a little lower than the wall, and then I'm going to beat it with acoustic sealant joint. And what that does is stops all air from coming in. Now inside your house, we're going to use about 3 coats of plaster, and that's really because we want to make it look good. The garage, a whole different story. It doesn't have to be pretty. What we want to do is stop the gases from coming in, so that requires at least 2 coats of plaster. And we're almost ready to start scraping and get up the 2nd coat. Between all of us plastering, this is going to be really quick. I don't see an issue with it. This 2nd coat the bevels. Just neaten up the corners. Just, you know, for appearance. Sean's just finishing that last stroke. Let's go see if they're ready to see it. Did you notice the difference the first night?
Absolutely,
Yes.
we really did. Once your spray foam was done, we could really feel it on the floor. It was a huge difference.
Now that makes me happy. This is approximately a $3,000 repair. That's taking it all down, spray foaming it, and putting it all back up again. $3,000. A lot of money for something that should have been right the first time. Henry, Mandy, come on out, guys. Ready to see?
Welcome.
Hello. After you.
Thank you very much. How are you today?
Very good now that we're done. Did you notice the difference the first night?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We really did. Once the spray foam was done, we could really feel it on the floor. It was a huge difference.
Now that makes me happy.
It made us happy too.
Come on in. Well, what we ended up doing was taking down all the ceiling and the walls, and we did a thorough inspection to see what they did do. We did find a couple of holes and a little bit of missing insulation around your ductwork, so that was filled. They had R25 in the ceiling and vapor barrier, but they didn't seal it. We did find that they ran a hotline within above the R25 bad insulation. Now, they're attempting to warm up that zone and give you a warm floor. Well, with no return, this isn't going to work. If it goes in, it has to come out. Not to mention, the total front end was leaving air galore coming in, especially the front wall. And that would really coincide with what you said, that breeze you're feeling through the baseboard, the breeze you're feeling through the ductwork. So from there, I called in my spray foam specialist, and he sprayed absolutely everything, even your ductwork, all across the front, directly up. We re-drywalled it. We used 5/8 on the ceiling.
That's beautiful.
I ran you a receptacle.
Wow.
So you no longer need that extension cord.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
That's very good of you.
Oh, I should have been done in the first place. Well, after all is said and done, it's not the most beautiful job I've ever done. However, we did solve the problem of it being cold within the house. We've also, using a mesh tape on the outside, to do a sheetrock 90 coating on that. And what that'll do is just make it airtight. We use an acoustic caulking all the way across the bottom.
Oh, I see that.
So we stop the fumes from coming in, period.
Well, we really appreciate this, and it's exactly what we were looking for.
Then we've done our job.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This is a brand new house. It's 2 years old, and here we are coming in, opening it up, and making it right. So, let's make it simple. You're buying a brand new home, you know you have a room over top of the garage, you ask your builder to make sure he spray foams that area. And check it to make sure.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem.
Thanks, guys.
Right on. Hope you're happy.
Henry has been sleeping in the backyard, Henry and Mandy, to make us a wonderful dinner.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, we're gonna have a barbecue.
Let's go, guys.
Sounds
Through the
like a
house.
Oh my goodness.
With tarragon,
Look
ribs.
at this.
We got some steaks with roasted corn. We got tomato salad with artichoke, mixed greens, and potato salad.
Wow. You want some, don't you? I know you
I just
do.
wanted to let you all know that you have a standing invitation to come here anytime and play with the dogs, okay? Make a happy day.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Good job.
Good job. Good game.
job.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
This is great.
Thank you.